Tonight, a call to action.
Your life should not end from an assault rifle in a place that is supposed to be safe.
University of Miami students mourn the lives lost in one of the deadliest mass shootings in U.S. history. Hundreds of people unite on campus and across the nation to help victims still fighting for their lives. And a city of their own.
It's a messed up area and we're forced to live like this, and I believe it's wrong.
Outcast from society, hundreds of sex offenders set up camp on the outskirts of town. But are they still close to home? How a group of outsiders struggle to find their place. Plus, from disaster to art, community members join together to help people still weathering the aftermath of Hurricane Irma. How one exhibit is bringing hope to a community ravaged by the storm.
Coming up in sports, we'll recap what went down on the hardwood for the Miami Hurricanes and talk about what happened here at Mark White Field.
It's been a beautiful day here in South Florida. We've had some above average temperatures, but in a little bit, we'll take a look at some wintry weather and what it might mean for us here in South Florida. NewsVision starts right now.
Hello and welcome to NewsVision. I'm Jihad Shatara.
And I'm Robin Shapiro. Thank you for joining us tonight.
It's been more than a week since a gunman opened fire inside Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. The Parkland community is still recovering after 17 people died in the shooting.
That's right, Jihad, and many members of the community and the nation have stepped up to help. Our reporter Tommy Fletcher is live from Sunrise, Florida to tell us more about how one company is trying to help and how the University of Miami will keep students safe. Tommy, what is this company doing?
Well, guys, the company that we're talking about is JetBlue. They announced last week that they would be offering to fly the families of Parkland victims here to South Florida for free. And today they held a blood drive along with the Florida Panthers. We're at the BB&T Center, just about 10 miles away from Stoneman Douglas High School. At last check, they tell us that over 400 people have donated blood here today. It was a completely different scene here, though, at the BB&T Center last night. That's when Parkland survivors, their parents, and other members of the Parkland community gathered for a town hall about gun control. The goal, to make sure that no student ever has to go through what those at Stoneman Douglas did just 8 days ago.
Why does it have
a
to
national dialogue about gun violence playing out in an emotionally charged town hall just miles away from last week's school massacre in Parkland, Florida.
My generation, we did not get it done. You will get it done.
The question, how to prevent a uniquely American problem, school shootings.
The folks in our community don't want words. They don't want thoughts and prayers. They don't want discussions. They want action.
What are you
Both of Florida's U.S. senators fielding questions about strengthening gun laws. Republican Marco Rubio facing the father of a Parkland victim.
Were guns the factor in the hunting of our kids?
They were. And here's
it's the weapon of choice. Can you say that?
Senator Rubio facing criticism for receiving donations from the National Rifle Association.
Senator Rubio, can you tell me right now that you will not accept a single donation from the NRA in the future?
You have every right to ask that question of me, and I'm here to tell you that I will stand for the things.
Are you going to be accepting money from the NRA in the future?
I've always supported, I will always accept the help of anyone who agrees with my agenda.
One of the proposals being considered in the U.S. Senate and something President Trump said he would be open to, raising the minimum age to 21 for purchasing rifles. The NRA rejected that idea Wednesday night.
Well, it's not the position of the NRA because I think that if we are asking young men and women to go and serve their country, that they should be able to also have a firearm.
And while many people are focused on gun control, others are focused on making sure a mass shooting never happens again. I talked to the University of Miami Police Department and Department of Emergency Management. They say that they're working not only to respond to an active shooter, but prevent a mass shooting, from happening altogether.
Parkland is the 8th school shooting in the United States so far this year. But if a shooting happened at UM, many students say they wouldn't know how to respond.
I honestly don't know what I would do. I definitely wouldn't know what to do. I'd probably be like freaked out.
If a shooting happened on campus, UMPD officers would likely be first on the scene, and the department's chief says his officers have the training and equipment necessary to save lives.
So all of our officers have ballistic shields and helmets and assault rifles like a SWAT team would have, and they're all assigned to the officers that are working the road, so they would be able to quickly respond.
Despite the police presence on campus, UM's Director of Emergency Management, Matt Spinner, says students need to be prepared to respond.
That we have a great police department who's well-trained, well-equipped, but there's always going to be that period of time where individuals have to do something to protect themselves if, God forbid, they encountered one of these situations.
His office has held more than 300 active shooter response training classes, which teach students to run, hide, or fight. One concern students have is that if they need to hide, they can't lock doors from inside classrooms. Instead, the doors would be locked remotely. But Spinner says students can protect themselves in other ways.
If the threat is so close to you that's in your immediate area that you need to take action to secure yourself in place, then that's where we kind of move past the idea of locking and we talk about stacking tables, chairs, desks, podiums, anything that you can do to barricade the entrance and make it more difficult for the potential assailant to get into your area.
While training can help students react to a shooting, the goal is to stop one from happening in the first place. And UMPD says they need students' help.
That's my biggest worry, is that there's folks that may know something and they don't call us.
And Chief Rivero tells me that in his 12 years at UM, there's only been one single shot fired on campus. That was part of a domestic incident a few years ago, but still, he says, despite the fact that there have been no major incidents, students need to be prepared. We're live at the BB&T Center in Sunrise for UMTV. I'm Tommy Fletcher.
From one blood drive to another, every year the 29 sororities and fraternities at UM participate in Greek Week blood drive. This year, the drive will directly benefit the victims of the Douglas High School shooting. For each person who donates blood, another point is added back to their team score. Students are also encouraged to donate blood platelets, but beware that this would take 2 to 3 hours. A platelet donation produces up to 5 times as much as normal blood donation, or 2 to 3 patients. Platelets are crucial to keep survivors alive while they recover. Students who cannot donate for medical reasons can still help by donating money to Direct Relief instead.
Survivors of the Parkland school shooting spent their second straight day at Florida State Capitol Wednesday. Their goal? To push state lawmakers in Tallahassee for stronger gun control. As Rebecca Chung reports, many of the students shared their personal stories about the shooting.
The stories now told.
I was fleeing for my life. I was running for my life from a guy with an assault weapon.
We were running, we were trying to get by the fence, by the creek. People are holding on to each other, some are crying.
And the messages made clear.
I understand what it's like to text my parents, goodbye, I might never ever get to see you again, I love you. I understand what it's like to fear for your life. And I don't think we should ever be discredited because of that.
Inside the Florida Capitol, the call for stronger gun control pouring out of the mouths of more than 100 Stoneman Douglas students.
I'm here to demand change from our government.
Some marching to meetings with lawmakers holding signs. Others branding messages on their arms. The crowd demanding to hear from lawmakers who have spoken against stricter enforcement.
I want to see those people. I'm not here for a fight. I'm not here to argue with you. I just want to speak. I just want to see your face and know why.
The survivors warning the legislators that nothing is going to stop them in this fight.
We're not afraid of getting reelected or not getting reelected. We have nothing to lose. The only thing we have to gain at this point is our safety.
And leaving lawmakers with a vow.
We are the future. We are the future of America. We're the future voters. So legislators out there, if you guys don't make a change, you're not going to stay in office. And that's a promise.
Rebecca Chung, UMTV.
At the rallies in front of the state capitol in Tallahassee, students from Marjorie Stoneman High School and thousands of others chanted, quote, "We want change and no more guns." This protest was called the Never Again Rally, which happened after Florida lawmakers voted down a motion to debate a bill on whether to ban assault rifles. Students also had a chance to talk to Governor Rick Scott about gun reform, mental health, and security at schools.
He was very open to our ideas. He didn't, say like, I agree, I disagree. He just wanted to hear our input on everything.
We're excited to see if he's going to put his vote where he put his words today.
After the meeting, students said Governor Scott is pushing on a 3-tier legislation on gun reform and purchase age, mental health, and security and school security measures. Parkland students say they have vowed to not stop until lawmakers take action.
As students rallied at Florida's Capitol, many other students across the nation walked out of schools in solidarity with the victims who were silenced by gunfire. Students in places as far as Service High School in Anchorage, Alaska walked out of their classes Wednesday to protest gun violence and show support for students who were affected in the Parkland shooting. They held handmade signs to raise awareness about school shootings and urged legislators to put aside their political views to find a solution to the violence. Several signs also addressed lawmakers with the words, "Protect kids, not guns." And back in Tallahassee, students from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas felt the support from students around the nation and did not waver in using their voices and letting legislators know exactly what they're fighting for.
We came here prepared, and we're going to come to every single meeting with every single legislator prepared. We know what we want. We want gun reform. We want common sense gun laws. We want stronger mental health checks and background checks to work in conjunction. We want a better age limit. We want privatized selling to be completely reformed so you can't just walk into a building with $130 and walk out with an AR-15.
And nearby Coral Springs High School also showed solidarity for MSD by forming a large heart in the center of their football field. MSD students are not the only ones making their voice heard. Alumni from the high school, now University of Miami students, have organized a march to stand up against gun violence in America. One of the organizers says she hopes students will not be afraid to step up for their beliefs.
It's okay for people to step up and take action and fight for what you believe in, because if you don't, nothing's going to happen. And even if this is not what you're passionate about, stand up for what you are.
The event, called Canes Care for Eagles March, will be at 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. February 28th on the Coral Gables campus.
For one UM student, the Parkland shooting is very personal. Her cousin is one of the 17 people killed. She commemorated her cousin's life at a campus vigil Tuesday night.
Alex should have gotten his driver's permit this year, taken the SAT junior year, gotten into his dream school senior year, found a job, got married, had children, and so many other milestones in one's life. Instead, he went to school just like any other day, but did not make it home.
Rosenberg calls on her generation to take action against gun violence so that other families do not have to suffer a similar loss. One of the 3 adults who also died in the shooting was a UM alumnus and a high school teacher, Scott Beagle. Beagle, a 2005 graduate, was killed while trying to save his students. Vice President for Student Affairs Patricia Whiteley says Beagle died a hero.
He is the embodiment of our Canes Care for Canes motto, someone who loved and cared for those around him.
The funerals for both Alex Schachter and Scott Beagle were held on Sunday.
Just really a situation no one ever wants to imagine, but so much strength and resilience in the community, so much unity.
Yeah, Jihad, truly an unbreakable bond between these alumni. One thing they said at the vigil was to keep our friends and family close. I know I will.
Yeah, me too, but when we come back. Forgotten and cast aside.
If you don't want us trespassing in areas like this, well then lift the 2,500-foot rule and let us all go back to home.
Rejected by their community, a band of sex offenders built their own city in the city of Miami. We'll bring you their struggle to find a home after a short.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Okay, Simon, what do people wear?
Clothes.
That's right, so it's important to learn how to dress yourself. Here's how it's done.
Shirt, underwear, pants, socks, shoes. Underwear, always first, name tag on the back. Then pants and shirt. Go ahead and put this on. Now with the shirt, you want to make sure the first button's right or you have to start all over again, okay? Socks left on left, right on right. Tying the shoes, we're going to take the laces, we're going to cross them over, we're going to turn around where the bunny goes down in the hole, pull it tight, and bunny ears. Got it?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
According to a 2016 county census, the homeless population in Miami has risen to its highest count since 2006.
That's right, and even though the Miami-Dade Homeless Trust says that they have increased the amount of shelter beds in the city, more than 100 homeless people with criminal backgrounds find themselves in limbo.
UMTV reporter David Perez joins us in studio to tell us more.
That's right, guys. Tents fill the streets and stereos blast throughout this homeless encampment near Hialeah. And while those lying in tents at night have nowhere else to go, their criminal past has forced them into what they say are inhumane living conditions. I visited the camp for myself.
For Adam Gillette, life on the streets is not easy.
It's a messed up area and we're forced to live like this, and I believe it's wrong.
Gillette lives in what locals call Tent City, an encampment where over 200 sexual offenders have been sent to live.
Well, first of all, I don't call it a tent city. It's not an tent city. It's an encampment of sexual predators and offenders that have ended up gathering on Northwest 71st Street and 35th and 36th Avenues.
The controversy stems from a state law prohibiting convicted sexual offenders from living within 2,500 feet of a school or daycare, a distance much larger than the original 1,000-foot rule, which existed just 10 years ago.
So if they don't like us here, it's their fault because they're the ones that put us here. If you don't want us trespassing in areas like this, well then lift the 2,500-foot rule and let us all go back to home.
Why are we still at the 2,500 foot and not the 1,000 foot? Haven't a clue.
In an emailed statement from attorney Valerie Jonas, who is defending the homeless, Jonas said, quote, "There's a scientific consensus, possibly unanimity, that a registrant's proximity to where children generally congregate has no impact on whether the registrant reoffends," end quote. An idea Ron Book vehemently opposes.
Today, if you or I wanted to go out and open up a restaurant with a bar, the law says you got to be 2,500 feet away from schools, parks, playgrounds, houses of worship. Guess what? These are individuals that were convicted of committing a sexually deviant crime, mostly against children. They shouldn't be allowed to live where children generally congregate.
And the encampment is not only affecting the homeless and lawmakers, it's impacting businesses in the area as well.
We had to put up the rolling shutter to close so nobody would be on our steps because they were coming on our steps and they were using our water.
Well, some people understand, but not everybody out here is the cleanest of people. I mean, some people just don't care and they throw their garbage everywhere, which inhibits business.
What about restrooms? What about showers? Okay, I understand they're sex offenders, they've done something terrible, but they're human beings. If they're that bad, put them back in jail.
Well, really, I believe that they can't really move us out of this area until they find another secure location for us to move to, because you can't just, if you force everybody out of here under trespass, the people that are on probation have nowhere to go, you're going to force violate them.
This tent city that's going on out there is getting bigger and bigger. And now, like I said, they've got generators out there at night. The TVs are blaring, they cook, they have a whole, it's becoming a community, and more people are coming in here, and they're dropping more people off.
Listen, we've made it clear to them that sooner than later there's going to be a hard deadline for them to move. And if they don't move, at some point, they're trespassers. And they will have to deal with the consequences of being trespassers on county property.
With no formal proposals up for debate, Book says the path towards solving the problem will come little by little, helping each individual person move out. But as long as no legal decisions are being made, tent city residents like Adam Gillette will be left in limbo. For UMTV, I'm David Perez reporting.
To Mark Light Field, where the Hurricanes baseball team suffered a crushing loss last night.
And we'll tell you about a major milestone for one UM head coach. We'll be right back after this break.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
Welcome back to the program. I'm meteorologist Sean Colm here with the weather this evening. In South Florida, we've had some pretty above average temperatures. 77 right now in Miami, 76 up in West Palm, and over here on the West Coast, 79 degrees. Around the rest of the country, though, this really isn't the case. 38 in Chicago, 20 over here in Denver, and Los Angeles, 57 degrees. That's pretty cold. The dividing line between these cold and warm air masses is clearly running here from Louisiana up to Tennessee right here, and that's a stationary front that's fueling a lot of severe weather over here in Arkansas, which has been having a lot of flash flooding problems, and Oklahoma City, which the past few days has closed schools due to the amount of icing they've had. This system is going to move its way into the Midwest over the next coming days. If you're going to the Grove tonight, I know I am, it's going to be a pretty nice night to go out. 75 degrees with a chance of a drizzle, but nothing that's going to ruin the night. Looking into tomorrow morning, the chance of rain is going to stick around, but again, nothing too bad. But by the afternoon, wow, are we left with a pretty nice day. 80 degrees with pretty much the sun and a few clouds in the sky. Now take a look at this. This is the 500 millibar height levels. That's the height of half the atmosphere currently above us right now. Over here over the Atlantic, we have a pretty record-breaking, actually, high-pressure system that acts as a force field, to say, against winter weather that usually tries to work its way down to South Florida this time of year. And over the next few days, that's going to stick around and leave really just some beautiful temperatures for this year's 7-day forecast. 80 degrees throughout most of the day. Chance of some rain Saturday morning, but really nothing that bad. And we're going to be able to finish the week off with some May-like temperatures on Thursday, 84 degrees. That's sitting beautiful. There's going to be time to get your tan on then. So that's it for weather. Back over to the desk with sports.
Thanks, Sean. Here's to hoping the bad weather stays away from South Florida.
Yeah, for sure. And Josh, don't we have some big games this weekend?
Yeah, absolutely, Jihad. We've got a weekend packed full of games, including a baseball series against #1 UF. But first, let's take a look at Hurricane sports and how they performed this last week. Coming off their most disappointing season in 45 years, the Miami Hurricanes baseball team opened their 2018 season at Mark Light Field this past week with a 3-game series against Rutgers. The Hurricanes took 2 of 3 from the Scarlet Knights, but Miami struggled last night against the Missouri Tigers. The Canes struck out 15 times, only registered 6 hits, and a 9-0 loss to Mizzou. Freshman second baseman Willie Escala led the team with 3 strikeouts. After hitting a home run over the weekend, slugger Alex Stroud went down looking as well, while Michael Mediavilla looked sharp for 3 innings before UM's defense crumbled. Mediavilla picked up his first loss of the season. Despite the recent disappointment, Miami outfielder Danny Reyes was named ACC Co-Player of the Week on Monday afternoon. The Florida Gator transfer batted .727, including 1 home run and 4 doubles this past weekend. The home run was the first blast a junior hit at the Division I level since June 4th, 2016. Reyes shared the honor with Notre Dame's Eric Gilgenbach. The Miami Spring native will get a chance to face his former team this upcoming weekend when Miami hosts #1 ranked UF. Switching over to the hardwood, women's basketball head coach Katie Meyer earned her 250th win at Miami on Sunday. Meyer led the Hurricanes to a 77-62 victory over Virginia. UM will look to extend its winning streak to 3 games when they take on Georgia Tech in Atlanta tonight. The Miami Hurricanes men's basketball team took on Notre Dame on Monday night, looking to snap a 3-game skid and pick up a big conference win. Let's go to South Bend to check out the highlights. First half, Miami up by 6. Watch this, the little guy, Chris Light, pokes it by Notre Dame, goes coast to coast, big with the trees, off the glass and in. A big bucket by the 5'7" point guard to get Miami in front. Closing seconds of the first half, Anthony Lawrence getting out on the break, finds Lonnie Walker in front of the Notre Dame bench and gets it to go as time expired. Miami going into the halftime up by 9. But Notre Dame wouldn't go away. Nikola DeJogo at the top of the key gets it to go from 3. Notre Dame back in front for the first time since 6 minutes in the first half, but Miami would get the lead back. Lonnie Walker, crisscross dribble, smooth as silk from the right elbow as the shot clock expired, pumps his chest. 19 points for the freshman. Closing seconds of the game, Jaquan Newton too strong. Rebound by Buka Azundu and the putback. That would put the icing on the cake for the Hurricanes as they took the game 77-74. The team will face off against Boston College at 2 p.m. this Saturday. That's all I have for sports this week. I'm Josh White.
Thanks, Josh. And still ahead, what do a rapper, a painter, and a UM alumni have in common? We'll have the answer right after this short break. Don't go away.
Miami, you are clear to take off.
Hurricanes Irma and Maria ravaged the island of Puerto Rico in the fall of 2017. The island reportedly suffered more than $91 billion in damages, and more than half a year later, most residents still do not have power. But one local artist is trying to do his part. His name is Bo Bradbury, and residents in the area call him the Ibis Man after his painting with the words, "You don't scare us, Irma," went viral. He decided to host an event here on campus where 100% of the proceeds go to the relief efforts for Hurricanes Irma and Maria. One of the organizers says that the event was designed to help our neighbors in the Caribbean.
It's themed around the ibis because the ibis is the last to leave before a hurricane hits and the first to arrive after it has passed. So we want to be the last to leave and the first to arrive for our brothers and sisters in Puerto Rico and the Caribbean.
To Leave First to Arrive event was sponsored by Miami Greek Week. Everyone from students to alumni attended on the UC patio. The event featured live painting from several Miami artists, including Bradbury himself, and live performances. There will be more information on how you can buy paintings and continue to donate to the relief efforts coming out soon. For updates, follow their page at LTL_FTA on Twitter. After a heavy week for South Florida, it's nice to see people coming together and aid others.
I agree, Jihad. Truly a tragic week, but at the end of the day, it's also been a test to the good that's out there.
Absolutely, and well, that's all the time we have tonight for here on NewsVision.
But you can always catch us on social media. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.